Hi everyone, this is a channeled message and a light language transmission activation and a healing painting with light codes in it around the Twinflame Journey. I want to talk about a specific phase that the twin flames get to, which it's a long way into the dynamic after working through a lot of the stages. And it's the stage where the feminine, whether the two of you have actually been physically intimate or not, and what I'm saying is even if you have many times, it's only when you've reached a certain level of merging and integration of the many energetic bodies and parts of ourselves and multidimensional parts of ourselves that where you've reached a certain level of merging, and you've worked through many levels of karmic clearing in order to do that. That's past life, that's developmental, that's traumas and experiences held in the DNA, passed down through the generations. You're working on all those levels, and each time you clear that, you have a merging of those cleared levels with your twin. And this all happens for most people on an unconscious level. You're usually not consciously aware of it unless you are a healer or a light worker who is specifically able to feel those levels of energy. And often you don't even know that you exist on those multidimensional levels until you feel and perceive that merging. And then you become aware of yourself at that level. And even then it's like a dream, and when you come out of it, you have a vague memory of it. But at some point you get to the stage where your energy body is at the level that you can only be physically intimate, sexually intimate with your twin at the physical level, once they are in the right alignment. And this is because you've upgraded and elevated and merged to a certain level where and reached a level where you can integrate higher and higher light. So you get to the point where he cannot enter your sacred temple, if you're a feminine, until he has the energetic codes or the key. And he only finds this within himself through his deep inner work, his clearing. For the masculine, so I'm talking about two aspects here. I'm talking about physical masculine and feminine, and I'm talking about energetic masculine and feminine. So there are energetic sexual gateways. These are often taught in the temples, in the Icean religions, and the times of the priestesses who would initiate men through sacred sexuality, and they're initiating them to their own inner power and their own alignment. The sexual energies are extremely powerful. This painting is about the journey of the masculine. It's a bit like the Knights, Templars, and Lancelot looking for the chalice, the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is the divine, feminine, sacred, sexual gateways. It's represented in this painting by this temple at Petra. And these, Petra in Jordan. which is where a lot of the Christ story happened, around Bethlehem and Jordan. This is representing all the cosmic gateways, the solar eclipse, the equinoxes, the galactic levels of multidimensionality, and these are the gateways of multidimensional gateways of the heart, higher heart, Christed heart consciousness, that the masculine has to move through to access the inner temple, the sacred sexual gateways within the feminine. Of course, when they do reach these sacred gateways, it opens them up to the Kundalini awakening, the alignment to their multidimensionality, and the immense power of the unified twin flame reunion, which is all aligned with the cosmos and the heavens. So this is the journey of the masculine. Although it's 3 kings or 3 wise men going to, journeying to, following the Star of Bethlehem to the greet the Christ incarnate. The Christ incarnate now is, of course, within our own hearts. And although it's 3, it basically represents 3 different stages of following his guidance, his template, to find the keys that unlock the gateways to the sacred sexual kingdoms for the reunion of the masculine and divine feminine into unity, which uplifts the planet and provokes the ascension, essentially. So here we have, although in this painting it's depicted as an external key that he's looking for in the cosmos, that's really just expressing the multidimensionality. And as you can see, it's not out of reach once he gets to the right place within himself, having journeyed through the physical world, being that the masculine journey, the divine masculine journey, is very much to do with the lower dimensional clearing. And even though he does that less consciously than the feminine, he still is very strongly guided by his spirit. He's just not conscious that he is. And he is just having the experiences that he is moved through is what clears and evolves him to be able to access those keys. And the more he awakens and the more conscious he becomes, the more access he will have to the divine, feminine, sacred, sexual energies. But he will consciously not approach her until he has those keys. He won't know why he's not approaching her, but it is imprinted in his heart, it's imprinted in his soul. The pathway that he has to take is embedded within his DNA, his heart, his soul. He's like an actor on the stage playing a part. He doesn't know that he's an actor. He believes that he is the role, whereas the feminine knows she's an actor. She has to play it out anyway, but she has a higher awareness of what's going on. So basically, if we go back now, using that same analogy to the point where there are 2 actors on the stage playing a role, the Divine Feminine knows who she is, and she's working she's working both. She's working the role she's playing, as well as creating new roles and directing things from the knowing that she's the actor, so from her true self. And she is constantly supporting and guiding the masculine with from off the stage as well. So so if we go back to the role on the stage, where each is following the template within them, playing out this role to eventually get to the reunion and the ascension of the planet, there comes a point where you've evolved so much that you no longer can be intimate, and you may need to be even out of contact for a while, not knowing what's going on in each other's life, to be able to really hold your light and allow the clearing and integration in your day-to-day life that comes from really holding that light. And this often comes after you may have been intimate or had a period of being together after a long period of not being together. It's like an interweaving and a coming together, a separating out, a coming together, downloading light codes, separating out to integrate the light codes, coming together to receive the light codes, and merging, moving apart to integrate them. And so in one of those periods of coming together, you've reached a level of unity that blows you apart again, and to your ego self this might feel like a it might really activate some darkness, some fear, some anger, some hatred. You might be imagining all sorts of scenarios, but what's happening is your souls have separated you, and the light is clearing out any previous trauma. And so if you're really feeling that you need to go within and work on what's triggered, what's come up, bring the light into the darkness, allow it to clear. Don't project it at your twin. They're going through the same thing. They don't understand it. They possibly understand it even less than you. All they know is they feel resistant to you. So allow this distance, allow the separation. You may feel the need to actually close the door, close the gate, even express lovingly and respectfully that you need to close the gate now. And this will push them into their inner searching for that key. It will allow them to follow that path that they need to follow to access those keys that they need to access before they approach. It doesn't mean it's forever, but it's a very important part. The gate needs to be closed and it needs to be locked. And it perhaps always was locked, but you have reached a level of awareness of those locks. And as you reach the level of the awareness of those locks, they will start to reach a level of awareness that they need to access a key. A very mundane level example of this, of how that might feel to them as they're looking for the key, is what happened as a little, I take it as a little sign from my guides and my higher self showing me what this is about and what it's like for him, is that my cats. I have two identical black cats. They look like twins, they're brothers. And they brought in a little mouse during the night, half-grown mouse. So cute. It was one of those outdoor mice, native ones with the big eyes and the big ears, and they're extremely friendly. I've got to know a few of them since I've had cats, as the cats bring them in and they just play with them, and they're very gentle. And then I pick them up, get them off the cats and put them outside. But this morning it was still dark, because it's got dark here in England, and it was raining, and I have a little mouse house, you know, a little kind of hamster house with a wheel in it, and I've got a bit of mouse food in there, and I put it in there for safekeeping. It was completely unharmed. It was just put it there so the cats can't get it, put it up high. But after about half an hour, I noticed that I could hear the cats in that room, and one of them, Magic, was going crazy. He was just, he knew the mouse was in there. He knew it. He knew it in himself. His instincts knew it. And he was really close. He was really close. He was sniffing around everything, but it was just a level higher on a shelf than he even knew was there. He hasn't discovered that higher shelf yet. And so he was knocking over all the things on the shelf below. He was investigating gently, but, you know, just very intently. He knew, and he was intently sniffing, looking behind everything, knocking everything over, exploring all around the area, sniffing, following his nose, and he didn't find it because it was a level above where he was looking. And I thought that that was amazing, because it was just such a metaphor. I was shown this, and then my gaze was directed to this painting to show me that this is the masculine looking for the key. He knows it's there, but he hasn't quite, it's a little bit higher than his head, and where he actually resides, and he needs to look up. So he needs to look within himself. He's very close, but he needs to look up. And this is not something the feminine can do or help with. All she can do is work on clearing her own karma, her own triggers, her own darkness, her own shadow, and allow him to find his way. He has to find his way. It's like the caterpillar, that it turns into the butterfly. As it goes into the chrysalis and completely liquefies and loses its form, it no longer has any shape. There comes a point, once it has reshaped into the new creature that flies, so a higher level, to take to the heavens, to take to the skies, it has to break out of the chrysalis itself. If anybody actually opens the chrysalis for it as it's trying to get out, it actually loses its ability to fly, because it is the breaking out of the chrysalis that develops it to be able to take flight. So it's very important he takes this journey. It's an important journey. He has to follow his own star, his own guidance, his own codes. You have to trust him to know the way. And as he follows it and looks up in his own time, takes the key, then he can open the gates, and only then can you let him in. You cannot open the gates from the inside. If you're the feminine, obviously I'm speaking to the masculine as well. So the masculine needs to do this. He needs to trust himself. He needs to be as conscious as he can, and he needs to follow his guidance. She has taken the training wheels off. Yes, she's been doing the energy work for you, and that's her role. And you've been doing the work on the 3D levels, but she has given you all she can now. She's taken the training wheels off, and you need to access the way yourself to complete the journey at the right timing, which is imprinted in your heart and soul, and she will be ready. She will be ready. So this painting has a very, very, very large amount of light codes in it. So if you've been watching this video and looking at the painting with an open heart, you will have been receiving the light codes. There's a lot of cosmic light codes, galactic light codes, multidimensional light codes. It has light language embedded in it every time there's a cosmic event like an equinox, a supermoon, an eclipse, and also when I intuitively guided to do it. And when I'm actually painting it and spending time on it, I'm also in a healing space and I'm channeling energy into it during the painting process. This is not complete yet. It's got some more work to do and some more codes, but it's not far off. So I'm just going to bring through now some light codes that I've been guided to do for now, and if you can be looking at the painting but be in a rested position with an open heart to receive the light language and the light codes from the painting. So I'm just going I akachaka chaka oskotuko opchika askotuko ochko stika chko boskoto ochko boskoto achko bataka chuboskoto poko chubosto ichkosto poko akacha oko okoto okobata achko boskoto bosko Isa chabaskatka papakato kopo ochposkoto achkoboskoto akachko sata kapato chabaskata poko ichara ako o ta akto o tuka ataka akjubo o ya acho ota akjubo sata kajubo okutba atpoto poko bata ya atuka okchko opskika opchkoskata pachko okataka batko sukuto potoko ikato osukopo otubo okutba achko okotika aptoskata atbo opata o so ya kuto ya takbo to kuto okutia aha sa apu aka osopu aka uputa akchbo I akta muna akto muna aka muna kapo I asko so koto kacho apto I ako osobata akchbo so akoto okosoto oputo ochobika atukbo to pa tukba apko osobata achbo to Acho sobata kabi yat kaba ako otopsakata aka to ta hokta he hatuko hota hakatako hotuka hoto he hatuko hotuka hato hapo chutuko he hatuko hotuko tuko soto poto he hatapa soto kopo at the end there was some really deep purging through the solar plexus and the sacral, some really and the higher point, which is where we manifest into physical reality, really big deep clearing out. It felt quite ancient and ancestral. It could have also been soul level based on other lifetimes. You may have heard some noises in the background there as during that light language my cat came in. He jumped on the same shelf looking for the mouse. I had by this stage removed the mouse from the top shelf and put it in another place because the cat was wrecking all my CDs and everything. And during that transmission, the cat magic actually looked up on the top shelf where the mouse was. So I see that was a bit of a metaphor for what's happening through that light language. Is it's giving the masculine within all of us, but the divine masculine within the masculine twin, the codes to look higher, and for that to drop down into the level of consciousness or a 3D mundane action, to follow that guidance to look higher. Yeah. Okay, so that is the transmission for today. I hope that you got something from that. I do believe that whenever you watch this is when it's relevant to you. Or it will at least give you the codes for the point where you will be ready for it. And it will sit in your energy field until the point that you're ready to receive the codes. So yeah, integrate that well, listen to it as many times as you want to, listen to it in a year's time if you like, whenever's relevant to you. Blessings.